You guys better lock in and buckle up because on today's episode, we're going to be diving into so many strange and disturbing, mysterious TikToks nobody can explain. Hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in.
All right, so I wanted to let you guys know that it's very likely they're going to start deploying this weapon. This is a real weapon. It is real. It is real. They're going to start deploying this weapon more and more. And if people are telling you they're hearing these things, you might want to take them seriously.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. And those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment. KMIR 6's Angela Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered. Angela.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
How much more can you invade me than to go into my brain? It sounds like somebody else is reading the book, only it's thoughts.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
These men all live in the area, didn't know each other before the voices started, and say someone is playing mind games with them.
Mostly it's a lot of derogatory comments about whatever you're thinking about.
Only time I ever had a whole sentence, he said, "This is not about you," which just frosted me. If it's not about me, what the hell am I going through all this for?
Kevin Bond says he used to have a normal life.
I was living in the San Diego area. I was clerking for a federal judge, and I noticed that I was being followed by a whole bunch of people.
According to the websites, what Bond has described
Gang-Stalking.
is called gang-stalking. He moved to Palm Springs to escape.
I started hearing, as you'll hear, hearing voices and what they'll call voice to skull or microwave hearing.
Bob Stansfield says his experience was similar and started a decade ago.
They were active in following me around here, and I started hearing the voices a little bit after the vehicular stalking.
Randall Ringer says the voices started when he was undergoing chemotherapy.
The first thing that was said was Randall Ringer. And I sat up straight and I went into the bathroom and I looked in the mirror, looked myself in the eyes, and I said, did that really happen?
Bond says he's found more than 300 victims locally and is tracking others across the state through billboards. In Johnson Valley, a Freedom House just opened to help people who believe they are being targeted.
To many of you who find yourselves the object of covert harassment, that there is hope and that you are not alone, and that we are striving to find legislation and we're working towards freedom for all.
Derek Robinson leads a national group called Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. He says he knows who's playing mind games.
Rogue government officials that are sponsoring this, also corrupt business officials, and private citizens.
And he also told us how.
Most of it is delivered by microwave, and I believe it's satellite delivered, whether someone is on a remote location using a laptop or next door using the desktop.
Bond says neurotransmitter chips that run off body electricity have been inserted into some people.
And they assign cell phone numbers to them. The cell phone numbers are then run through a computer, and a computer translates your thoughts. This crime has been available to the military for 60 years.
Yeah, so I used to think all of these people were crazy, not so much anymore. But one thing I was thinking as I was watching that, do you think it's possible that they might put a voice into a whole bunch of modern day Christians' heads? A bunch of people that know that Jesus is coming back. Do you think it's possible that you might be hearing a voice that you think is God? And it might not be, but it's part of Project Bluebeam. Do you think that's a possibility? Anyway, type your comments below.
Yeah, people joke all the time about tinfoil hats, but I myself was thinking about getting some type of Magneto helmet from X-Men so they can get out of my head. I don't necessarily feel like I hear voices sometimes, but I feel like they're reading my mind and they're using that for ads, so it'll block all the neurotransmitters, the bioscanners, I don't know. And then the gang stalking. That's a whole nother subject.
Looks like we got another one, guys. All day.
That's why you always want to be aware of your surroundings. When you go to the store, look at every single car if you can. If you're going to a Dollar General and you're just trying to get some coffee creamer or something, before you pull in, analyze the scene, the entire parking lot, see who's in their car, know where your exits are at, you know? I'm hyper aware of all the times. I used to say, keep your head on a straight swivel. I mean that.
Most of the travelers you gonna see, they just going to work. The gang stalkers gonna make blocks. You're gonna be able to pinpoint their cars, because most of these individuals, they are just communing back and forth to work. The gang stalker gonna have to turn a block. The gang stalker gonna have to expose themselves. You retirees in the big old 1200 Rams and the Lexuses and the Cadillacs that's following me around in this little Nissan G6, you gonna have to expose yourself to God today and let the world know how important I am in this G6. So you're gonna have to make blocks in that big old Cadillac. You're gonna have to make blocks in that big old Escalade. You're gonna have to keep making blocks in that 2022, that 2023, and you're gonna show the world how important this little broke dude is that's staying at the shelter that's riding in a G6. You finna show the world how important I am. God is finna show the world how important I am. So I put my gang stalkers in this position this morning. This is the position they in.
An FBI agent in 2011 wrote in a sworn affidavit that there is an illicit government gang stalking program. His name was Ted Gunderson. An FBI agent in 2011 wrote in a sworn affidavit that there is an illicit government gang stalking program. His name was Ted Gunderson, and everything that he said in his affidavit is to a T what I'm living. He wrote, individuals targeted by this program have been subjected to illegal and unconstitutional phone taps, illegal audio bugging, surreptitious entry into home, office, and vehicle, visual surveillance in the home conducted by illegal placement of miniature remote wireless cameras, illegal internet spyware, illegal GPS tracking, regular, fixed, and mobile surveillance, mail misdirection. That was the first sign that something was wrong, as my mail was being opened and tampered with, mobile surveillance, mail theft and tampering, financial and employment sabotage, slander campaigns, and community ostracizing, internet disinformation and smear campaigns, poisoning, assaults, or illegal setups on drug charges and other felony charges, amongst many other civil rights abuses. It is like to a T what I am living. He wrote that people get targeted for a variety of reasons. He said that they could be corporate or government whistleblowers, parties to financial and employment disputes, parties to marital disputes, and even jilted paramours, which was my situation. They also will stalk and harass journalists who cover controversial issues, especially journalists who cover gang stalking, because they don't want this crime to be out and publicized. And so they pay off and threaten all of the big media companies.
Look at this guy. Like, how blatant is this? Is this not gang stalking? Like, come on. What is this? Look at this guy. Like, am I in danger? Should I, Holy. Is there a reason why you're following me? Holy! You see that? If he comes back around, then you know. Finding my car. Look at this guy.
Now I see why the Bible says you need to walk in circumspect.
Initiate. By the way, I studied with the same Kabbalist who taught Salvador Dali. She never showed me this. It's an image of a reptilian that he's holding up like this. And it's about, 6-7 inches tall. Now, this reptilian, sort of where we have our third eye, has a protruding, horn-like figure in the center of its forehead, on top of its head. That's called the proboscis. That comes off and goes into the eye. And within 2 weeks kills the human soul and takes over the memories and consciousness. That's what they call it, soul scalping. And they have found really similar reptilians in animals that they don't understand how it's gotten into the animal's head, how it's gotten into their brain. Animals who were behaving strangely and had to be put down. So the whole thing is really mysterious. And those who have had the black eye very often start behaving differently.
We recently covered this on Dark Waters 9. There's a video that allegedly showed, you know how all the Egyptians had that, you know, that little design hanging, you know? They're saying that was a worm. Could it be the proboscis hanging out, you know?
A Vril parasite, it could be clones, and we'll come on to that in a moment. The thing I've said time and time again is that I believe that vampires are allegorical for adrenochrome harvesting. So if we have a master race who enters in and takes over humans of influence, and they can live forever, what's uncertain is, do they have to jump to another body after a couple hundred years or after that body dies? Do they have immortality, but yet they need blood to survive? What does that sound like? That's Dracula all over. That's the story of vampires, which I think is allegorical to the draconian reptilian race who needs blood to stop from losing their human form. Now, we all know that Eisenhower allegedly made a deal with aliens. In exchange for humans, they gave us some technology. Now, initiate, by the way,
I didn't know that. Can anybody elaborate that? Drop it in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts about that. The following TikToks and footage you're about to see has sparked some unsettling theories online. While there may be a logical explanation, some viewers believe there could be something more sinister behind it. Let's dive in. This is the clearest Bigfoot footage from 2026. Story behind it will terrify you. The Sasquatch story.
And the stories might be the clearest Bigfoot footage anyone's ever captured on camera.
These beings exist.
And the story behind how it surfaced is going to keep you up at night. I'm talking about a 10-second trail camera clip that shows a Bigfoot standing in thick Michigan forest, staring directly into the lens like it knows exactly what it's looking at. Then it just steps away into the shadows. No sudden movements, no panic, just calm and deliberate, like it's done this 1,000 times before.
Because it has.
What makes this different from every other supposed Bigfoot sighting is the quality.
Facts.
We're not talking about a blurry blob filmed from half a mile away on someone's ancient camcorder. This is modern trail camera footage with decent resolution, and you can actually see details. The proportions, the way it moves, the expression on its face before it turns away.
Magic return to the planet. These beings are beginning to surface. Recently, me and my goddess was celebrating her solar return in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. And these beings apparently are known for being out in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. And as we were sitting at the Airbnb, she stated she seen two bright yellow eyes staring at us. And they was about up to 8 foot tall, next to a tree. And then soon she pointed it out to me, the being apparently disappeared. Now, some say that the Bigfoot is very magical, and they literally have the ability of walking in between dimensions. There are several theories regarding the Bigfoot. Some allege that they were the first version of the humanoid beings prior to the Anunnaki's experimentation to upgrade our genetic template. That basically, because some say that smooth skin is an Anunnaki trait, that initially all the beings had hair, were covered with hair. All right. Now, I personally believe that we are the Anunnaki. Anyone that has a 9 DNA series, anyone that's 9 ether, our direct descendants from the Anunnaki. That's a whole nother lecture, right? But then you have individuals such as Dr. Malachi Z. York, Freedom Master Teacher, that indicate that these beings derive from the Orion star constellation, and he typically referred to them as shaggies.
Nonetheless, there's going to be a lot of magical creatures that are beginning to surface. And this is one of the primary reasons why they came out with AI and why computer-generated imagery looks more realistic, because they knew that we're entering the age of Aquarius and they didn't want us to be able to discern between fact and fiction. All right, so this is why everything's AI and everyone has access to Sora and all these other artificial intelligent apps. It's primarily because they want us they want us pretty much unaware of what's right before our eyes. So some of you guys that say AI don't have an open pineal gland. A lot of you guys can't see beyond a veil. And again, we only see 1% of the visible light photon spectrum. There's so many things that are around us on a consistent basis that we can't see, that now, since the Schumann resonance has been spiking, others are going to be privy to seeing these things. Currently, there's a great separation of consciousness taking place on the planet. And you have to ask yourself, what side of the shift are you on? Are you vibrating in third density, or are you moving to fifth dimensional consciousness? This is the side that we should be on, Cosmic Family, because there's a lot of non-playable characters that are stuck on this side. I told you, be careful what you're eating, all right? Refrain from all fast food, all refined sugar, all low vibratory food that's designed to actually keep you anchored to the root chakra, raise cortisol levels, and calcify the pineal gland. We need to detox our bodies. We need to fast. We need to ground, and we need to surround ourselves around high vibrational people. There's lots of solar flares hitting the planet, and you can truly feel the increase in energy. I've been having lots of dreams, weird outer body experiences, as well as deja vu experiences, times where I feel like I'm walking in between realities. These are all signs that the magic is coming back. The ones that...
My man was floating, astro projecting. Look at this.
I feel like I'm walking in between realities. These are all signs that the magic is coming back. The ones that say everything is AI are walking around with calcified pineal glands. They're on this side instead of this side. The ones that are truly tapped in, that can see beyond a veil, are vibrating on this side. The objective of the Draconian Brotherhood and Dark Shadow government is to continue to keep this planet a loosh farm. The last thing they want you doing is seeing the magic returning or elevating yourself. We're living in a time where everything is being upgraded on a cosmic scale due to primordial dragon ley line activation. Everything's waking up. I'm talking about the return of fairies, gnomes, pixies, dragons, elves. Everything that you thought was fiction, that's depicted as fiction, is actually real. Now, again, trees used to be able to sing and dance and actually communicate with us. Animals as well. We fell so far in consciousness, we were also telepathic. We had things like telekinesis, but now everything's returning back to that point, and it's inevitable. Anytime that you ever thought that you were sick or 100% not yourself wasn't natural. It's due to biological attacks. This is because they don't want us having access to the cosmic gateway and would much rather keep us seeing less than 1% of the light photon spectrum.
The veil is getting thin. That's not the first time I heard of Bigfoot phasing into different dimensions. How crazy is that? Interdimensional being? Bigfoot's just evolving. It's no wonder they can't spot him. He's morphing like Nightcrawler on X-Men.
The internet is going crazy right now about what may have happened inside of this tunnel in New Mexico. So this tunnel is off of the 84 in New Mexico near Santa Fe, and it seems to have been referenced in the Epstein files. So as you can see here, there's the EFTA number in the bottom right hand corner, and this appears to be an email sent by a potential survivor / victim to an officer, and this person seems to be describing an event that happened in the tunnel. So they say here, I was not before meeting Mike Levine. I don't know who Mike is. It was he who forced me into it. Life of my niece. If I had been in prison, he would have never had to do this. I did what he asked or forced me to do. I told him it hurt, but he didn't care. He had a mission and he accepted what he did to me as collateral damage. I understand I was an adult then, but wanted you to know that Ghislaine was procuring Young before 1994. To me, she was the mastermind behind the scheme, and they basically talk about Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell trafficking this woman, doing terrible, terrible things to her. But she keeps referencing this tunnel. Right here, they state, there was an error in my last email. The tunnel off roadway 84 is on the left side of the road, 84, not right side, as I stated in the earlier email. The large turnout is nearby tunnel entrance and is also on the left side of 84. The tunnel is hiding in plain sight. And then down here, she also states, as you can see right here, M. Levine introducing me to Maxwell / Epstein was around the same time of the pictures I sent you, and him taking me to the tunnel. I feel it was all done to terrify me into submission. I appreciate you and others allowing me to purge what has been tormenting my life for nearly 40 years. I hope it helps you knowing she was doing these terrible things in the early 80s. So this seems to be an email ratting on Ghislaine Maxwell, but the internet is talking about what the hell happened in this tunnel. And obviously I'm curious as well. This seems to be something that terrified this victim, and yet the email before this is not present in the Epstein file. Nobody has been able to track down the message sent by this alleged victim / survivor, which would contain the allegation of what allegedly went down in that tunnel. However, people have been able to find the tunnel, or what they believe is the tunnel. And I was actually just in New Mexico last week. If I would have been there right now, I would have gone out here to check out, what potentially could be in this area or inside of the tunnel. But I do know that whatever allegedly happened here doesn't sound too good. Interestingly, also on the post that I found talking about this tunnel, there were a number of what seems to be bot accounts that were attacking the original poster. And a lot of people were commenting saying, wow, the bots really came out for this one. You're onto something. So it seems like this tunnel has some sort of importance, but we just don't know what that is. I'll keep you guys updated though if I find out more.
I was thinking about underground tunnels the other day. It's like, it's so massive under us. We really don't know how much facilities, cities, or what could be under us, honestly. As long as the structural integrity of the buildings on top of it don't get messed with, and they dig deep enough, who would know what's going on under there? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Why you should never keep your cell phone in your pocket.
Don't keep the phone in your pocket, or you will exceed the as-tested exposure guidelines. Now, how many of you knew that before today? Because they actually are now giving people this information. Telstra is telling you to use a hands-free device to keep a mobile phone away from the head and body. Because mobile phones and Wi-Fi devices emit pulsed microwave radiation. 900 times a minute, it's looking for a signal. It says to the tower, where are you? Here I am. Where are you? Here I am. It's smart. That's how it's supposed to do. Now, when the phone rings, the worst time for you to put a phone right next to your head is when you answer it and say hello, because it's smart and it goes to max power and bone marrow. And look here at the radiation as it gets into the groin area. And that's just from having a mobile phone modeled into the pocket. The United States magazine Consumer Reports recently recommended that nobody keep a phone in their pocket. Nobody. And in fact, if phones were tested in pockets, they would exceed the as-tested exposure guidelines, which is why Telstra has recently issued that advice. Don't keep the phone in your pocket.
That's why I always try speaking on speaker when I have to, keeping the phone away from you, maybe like a EMF bag or something that could code it so you won't get that signal, but you wouldn't be able to receive calls. I think if it's completely wrapped up, I don't know how we're supposed to protect ourselves. Use pigeons or writing letters? Y'all tell me. There was a certain art to writing handwritten letters, because you can see the passion behind the cursive, or if someone's pressing the ink too hard, it's like the bold font. This writing letters is really a lost art nowadays. I even remember back in the school days when people used to write handwritten letters when you like somebody. I ain't never get none, but it was always, at a crush, they'll write a letter to someone, and then, Huge shout out to my boy Jay Wilson for bringing something else to our attention.
To learn about an IoT person. An IoT person can be defined as someone equipped with in-body nanosensors, which is a major component of the Internet of Bodies (IoB) and the Internet of Nanothings (IoNT). In this context, the human body acts as a platform for data collection, monitoring, and in some cases the control of bodily functions in real time. Here is a breakdown of how this technology works and its implications. The IoT person and IoB. When the Internet of Things (IoT) technology connects with the human body, it is known as the Internet of Bodies (IoB). An IoB-equipped person can have devices that are ingested, digital pills with sensors that track medication or monitor gastrointestinal health, implanted pacemakers, defibrillators, or cochlear implants, embedded, next-generation technology where sensors are deeply integrated into the body, sometimes interfacing with the nervous system. In-body nanosensors, IONT. The Internet of Nanothings, IONT, refers to the use of nano-sized devices that can communicate and exchange data within existing networks. Functionality. These sensors can monitor biological activity such as tracking virus outbreaks, detecting bacteria, monitoring temperature within living cells, and analyzing blood sugar levels. Healthcare impact. In-body nanosensors can be used to develop a body sensor network, BSN, that provides real-time health data to both the patient and their doctor, allowing for immediate, proactive, and personalized medical intervention. Benefits and risks. Medical advancements. This technology can lead to better management of chronic conditions, precise medication tracking, and non-invasive alternatives to traditional diagnostic procedures like an electronic pill replacing an endoscopy. Cybersecurity and privacy. Because these devices collect highly personal, sensitive data and are connected to the internet, they are susceptible to hacking. Hackers could theoretically tamper with data or, in the case of implanted devices, disrupt their operation, creating serious risks to patient safety. This convergence of biology and technology, often referred to as the Internet of Bio-Nanothings, IOBNT, is transforming healthcare and enabling the integration of biological systems into the digital world. Now, this summary is based on all these papers that you see at the bottom. There's many of them. But this is why they want nanosensors in you. I mean, wearables qualify you to be an IoT person, but you can take them off. Nanosensors are a little bit harder to get out of you. Most people don't even know that they are inside of them.
This isn't medical advice, this is just theories, not facts. I would say the craziest part about nanotechnology is we can't see it. You know, I was gonna get us a regular, microscope off Amazon for a couple $100. And when I was doing some more research about how spotting nanobots, they said you need an electron microscope, over 6 figures for one of those bad boys. And who knows about the learning curve? You gotta learn to operate it. I'm sure you just can't drop a slide on and look at it. You gotta calibrate it right. And so, man, it's extremely difficult to spot nanobots. I mean, what possible way can you spot them? Something that small, how can you avoid them? It's like, is it small enough to go through the holes of a mask? Is it undetectable from the food you eat? It's kind of scary. It reminds me of something worse than Terminator. Terminator, they were building the AI. This is like slowly merging our cells into nanobots, and then those getting hacked. That's scarier than the Terminator. That's almost like more on the Matrix, when Mr. Anderson was able to jump into the bodies and move around and control everybody. Damn, that's a hell of a reference. If you're enjoying this type of content, don't be afraid to hit that like and subscribe button if you're new around here. It helps the algorithm out, and go ahead and share it if this resonates with you. Let's jump straight back into these waters.
The second someone gives you hating energy, leave the premises immediately. Energy never lies. No matter how much someone says they support you, if they start making side comments, backhanded jokes, and they start talking behind your back, avoid them at all costs. This type of energy not only isn't good for you, but it causes blessings to be blocked, opportunities to close, and you not to grow as much as a person. The fastest way to know if you really have a true friend is to not necessarily only need something, but to tell them some type of good news. Say that you're going on a big trip. Tell them you got a promotion at work and see how they react. Does their energy drop or does it increase? Being around someone who truly supports you will change your life forever. You'll talk better, you'll have more confidence, and success will find you easily. The second someone gives you hating energy,
man, I can't tell you how deeply I resonate with that, man. You gotta think of it like if any of you guys garden or you mess with plants, you would know to trim off the dead leaves or the flowers that's already wilting, so more can bloom from the top. It gives the plant more energy. I feel like this could be an allegory to what he's just saying, is you got to chop off the dead leaves. And the dead leaves, unfortunately, are people that really don't support you or rock with you. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's sad because you might be an empath like me and really care for that person, and you take yourself out the equation and apologize for making them do a hateful comment. Hey, I apologize for, just saying I'm doing good. And you know what I'm saying? That's just the empath in us. And unfortunately, you gotta cut them off, man. Cause like I said, the plant, the tree, the flower bush, it can grow way better when it doesn't have that dead energy. It's constantly feeding energy into the dead parts of the plant. And also, real quick on top of this subject, you don't never want to talk bad about anybody. You don't want to do that jealous energy towards anyone else, because any type of malice energy, I believe that it hurts you 8 times more to say something negative, because you have to form that creation within inside of you just to direct it. You got that negative energy swirling inside you for gossiping or talking bad about someone. So that's why I do my absolute best not to talk about anybody, gossip, anything. I just wish the best for everyone, honestly.
Your heart is more powerful than your brain. Your heart's electromagnetic field is 100 times stronger than your brain's. That field guides your emotions, your immune system, and your overall energy balance. PEMF strengthens that field, helping your heart and brain synchronize, improving calmness, focus, and inner coherence. Lead with your heart. PEMF helps it stay in perfect rhythm.
Interesting. Your heart is an electrical organ. That's why it's imperative to vibrate on the right frequencies.
Jung's final insight about sovereign empaths was perhaps his most profound. He believed they represented an evolutionary leap in human consciousness, essential for humanity's psychological development. The sovereign empath, Jung wrote, has become what I believe represents the next stage of human evolution. Individuals capable of feeling the full spectrum of human experience, while remaining centered in their own truth. They are the bridge between ego consciousness and self-realization. Jung believed that as humanity faced increasing psychological complexity, these evolved empaths would serve as consciousness midwives, helping others navigate their own shadow integration and empathic development. He saw them as essential for healing the collective trauma that humanity carries. Their suffering was not personal, Jung concluded, but archetypal. They have endured the collective human experience of abuse and emerged with the medicine our species needs for its next evolutionary step. The empath who survives narcissistic abuse and reaches Jung's final stage has undergone what he called the ultimate individuation, becoming fully themselves while serving something larger than themselves.
Yeah, that ties into the first video where we're talking about trimming the dead energy off. I know it's hard, because we love people so much. You're not necessarily cutting them off. You just understand your place in this world and what you need to do and your mission.
They take pictures of the parasites that get out of you on these different deworming programs. Woman got 18-inch long critters out of her that were so thick she couldn't get them into a top of a juice bottle. They're usually translucent, they're usually white, and there's some of them that look like tarantula spiders, some of them look like grasshoppers, some of them look like little tiny miniature sailboats, some of them look like little spacecraft.
This is truly going to blow your mind. It'll change the way that you view health altogether. This guy looked through these books from the 1800s and he noticed they all had parasite cleanses.
And what did they know back then? What were they doing? Guessing? I started finding books that were published by doctors through the 1800s, books that they read and books that they learned from. And lo and behold, out of every single book were deworming programs. Parasite programs, for doctors in those days did autopsies and they found parasites. And I looked at that and I got a hold of doctors and they said, no, we don't have parasites today. So we started to search for parasite programs just to see what was going on, to see if maybe something was happening that we really didn't understand. So I did myself first. And lo and behold, I got 8 and 10 inch critters out of me. They were white. First of all, they were in the toilet water and they were all bunched up. I thought it was mucus. Until just for a curiosity, I threw some hot water in the toilet to warm it up and then went and gosh, they strung out and they were swimming all over. We're now doing pictures in color out of clinics where you go potty on a special pot, a screen in it, and they take pictures of the parasites they get out of you on these different deworming programs. Yeah, this is really strange stuff. I have never yet dewormed anyone where they didn't tell me, hey, I feel 25% better. I mean, got halitosis, you're loaded. Because that's worm urine and worm droppings that you're breathing out. So it's no wonder your breath's bad. When they pee, that's called ammonia. So just go to a doctor, have a blood test, and see what level of ammonia is in your blood. If you have ammonia in your blood, that's called worm urine. You get a headache. You got the headache because the worms are all peeing, trying to get you to eat something else. They're trying to make you sick so you'll get off of what you're doing and start eating. So you take some arginine and orthodine, and in a matter of 20 minutes, if the headache's gone, you've neutralized the worm urine and you know that you're loaded. All children that have little tiny pimples on the backs of their arms or little tiny pimples here on the edges of their cheeks have 5 varieties. They take pictures of the parasites that get out of you.
Oh, no, I wanted more. That was the end of the clip, guys. Damn, I'm done eating fast food. I can't be eating fast food because who knows what I really haven't been craving fast food, to be honest with you. It's not like, oh, I gotta go have it. I really fast for most of my day. And, I require sustenance when I feel like I need to eat. It's not like, oh, I gotta go get me a cheeseburger or I gotta go get me some fast food. It's, but I'm not saying I ain't got nothing in me, but I'm just saying that, fast food and, all the terrible stuff we eat, cookies and all that stuff, that's probably what they love to eat. So if you're not craving it, it might be a slight chance you're not as warmed up as everyone is what I might think. But again, I don't know. This isn't health information. This is just theories. And real quick, something else comes to mind. We should be able to see those under a microscope. We might not be able to see nanobots under a regular microscope, but actual parasites, that might work.
The DARPA documents, if you look at the Army War College documents, if you look at the DoD documents, and you look at some other, deep level documents, which I'll be happy to share with you if any of your listeners want to see some of that stuff. They don't refer to those towers as cell phone towers. They refer to those as directed energy weapons, DEWs. They actually refer to your phone as a DEW, directed energy weapon, your router as a directed energy weapon. Well, I couldn't go much further because they have to control you through frequencies. That's how they control you. And mostly through extremely low frequencies, HAARP frequencies, megahertz frequencies, 3, 4, 5G, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10G frequencies, gigahertz frequencies, microwave frequencies, radio frequencies. They can do it through music as well.
Wow.
But there's always the opposite of that too, like the good music with the solfeggio tones and, and
so
stuff
no more
like that.
microwaves, you're saying? Don't use those?
Oh, throw your microwave away. The microwave kills all the nutrients in the food anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, so that's when you get into, they also want a lot of metals in your body. They need a lot of metals in your bodies as transducers and as receivers. And they want you to be exposed to all these EMFs and all these frequency devices. So the solution is to get rid of all the chemicals and all the metals in your body. You could do that through toxin binders, ozonated activated charcoal, like a microsomal EDTA, some clays, stuff like that. Doing all of this transhumanism stuff, we're already coming up with solutions, which are just detox your body, make those decisions to start cleaning your liver. Do liver cleansing, do heavy metal cleansing, do parasite cleansing, clean and heal your gut, put some really good probiotics in your gut, and try to avoid or protect yourself from any of the EMFs as much as possible. Look at the DARPA
You know, and it's crazy, you know, because we do absorb stuff from our skin too. So who's to say how small stuff is to penetrate the skin? I don't know. All the metals, you know, that's all in the air from what they doing, y'all know. You know, all the metals in it, man, it's so crucial. I feel like we all need a sauna or something. Nanobot sauna. Something. In addition to that last footage we just watched, I believe this is necessary. Take a look at this. What ancient witches did with mirrors, we do with our screens. Coincidence or something else?
I think that like TVs and phones and computers and stuff, they're kind of eerily similar to like scrying mirrors used by witches, you know? Let me explain. So you got the television, where they tell a vision, right? And on their television, they have some broadcasting of spells, yeah. And then they got the channels, kind of like channeling of spells. Got the programs, the mental programming, you know. Devices. It just so happens that the notorious druid wizards made their wands from Hollywood? Oh, the wood of a holly tree. That's a cool coincidence there. You know, you got your cell phone, prison cell with your lock screen, you know, got the internet, networking, you know, what are you using net for? I think you use a net to catch people, you know, kind of to trap people. A web site, kind of like a spider web, you know, also used to trap things. Monitor? Who are they monitoring? A server? Who are we serving? What are we serving, you know? Why is it called a firewall? Why is it called a freaking mouse? You know, don't they test on mice in labs? And you got your keyboard? Key to what? You know, what doors am I opening with my keyboard, you know? What are these keys leading to, you know? Am I onto something, or am I schizo? Am I schizo? Oh, I'm back on schizogram. He's totally schizo.
And you can't forget about the remote control.
I think that,
remote control, just to name one. I'm sure he missed 100 more. Drop it in the comments below. What else did he miss? What type of correlations can you make?
The Latin word for soil, for living soil, is humus.
Right.
And the word human is derived from it.
We need to remember that.
And the word humility is derived from it.
Yeah.
So to truly be human is to be of the soil, and to be truly human is to be humble, to not say the soil is dead earth. The Latin
created from the dust of the earth.
The end of the video will reveal the size and location of these three creatures. Trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Kind of getting like a wing vibe, like this is a giant wing and a head and his arm going forth, his thighs, and then a calf and a leg. I see a titan laying down, maybe, that had a backpack on or some wings.
There were thousands of dead dragons across this massive park.
Oh yeah, I see the eye socket and some teeth, maybe a nostril, the horns. Man, these things were massive. How are you expecting to fight a giant dragon that's, you know, that big? Kind of reminds me of the Mortal Kombat logo, low key.
This park was the Parco Natural Regional della Lasinia. They were the size of mountain ranges. The end of the video.
What's slaying a dragon that big? Alright guys, you know what time it is. If you thought you weren't going to get another excellent specimen of the day, think again. Hi, Houston! Ooh, we got a pretty one. Malachite is encased in sugar quartz, with some rocks forming pillars, creating an overall effect that resembles a shimmering starry sky. This is definitely shimmering. We've been in the 9s a lot lately, man, and this is another one. I'm going 9-1 on this one. It's an extraordinary piece. It looks like it was originally a geode. If we can see the back, do they show the back at all? No, I guess the inside is where it's at. Beautiful color, like a turquoise-ish. Yeah, like a seawater almost with the gray. Man, 9-1, and I'm gonna have to name this specimen the Petrified Coral Reef. 9.1. Go ahead and rate it and give your specimen name in the comments below. I know you guys could do better than that. But that's all we got for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button and drop the code word in the comments below. The code word for today is Nanobots. Go ahead and drop Nanobots in the comments below. When you do that, that shows me you made it all the way to the video. You really rock with your boy. I go through as many of the comments as I can and heart as many as possible. And I just want to say thank you guys for your support. This was mysterious TikToks and footage on the internet today. See you later.